Hi guys, PC Crypto here. This episode is about how to get a job in Web3, in crypto, in the Metaverse, in general, in a blockchain startup. So the basis for this video is the OKX report together with LinkedIn, analyzing different jobs around the world in the blockchain industry. And I wanted to go through that because it will give you an idea how the industry looks like in general and what kind of talent you need to have in order to work in crypto, where the work is actually, is it remote, is it not remote, in which places you can get a job. So let's get started. The whole industry talent insights, I will give the link down below. Generally speaking, the whole industry is booming. There are more and more startups developing their own blockchains, DAOs looking for investments, miners looking to mine, traders, and for example, there are analysts needed also for the different trading companies. So there's a bunch of stuff really growing, and probably you heard about this massive fund, the $1 billion fund from A16Z, Andreessen Horowitz, and many other funds. So basically, if a startup gains if it fundraises like millions and millions of dollars, then basically that means almost all of that is going to development and hiring people. So the first tip, if you're looking for a Web3 crypto job, then basically look for the startups who got funding recently. And they will for sure will be hiring new employees very soon. They have just this new capital, so they need to show to the investors that they can spend that really well. Most of the money is going either to US, UK, and a couple of other countries, India amongst the other. That will be shown also down below. So let's have a look. There's like 76 year-on-year percentage of the growth. US, India, and China are the top 3 blockchain talent countries. The problem here is that the China talent growth rate is pretty low, which means probably China will be looking for outside employees. That might be a good thing, especially if you're living in Asia and looking for a job in Asia in general. So yeah, let's go down below. The core summary is this. So global blockchain talent growth is strong. The core talent requirements are shifting from financial field to the technical field. Yeah, I'm not sure about that really. Probably it's everything. As you will see down below, there are a couple of core competencies. You can be either in the technical field like a software engineering, doing more technical stuff. You can be more on the financial side, doing different kind of analysis or trading yourself. But you can also be in sales. You can also be in a business development, developing business relationships. There's a bunch of people that are really needed in the Web3 space right now. General thing, talent tenure is short, turnover is high, and talent flow is mainly within the industry. That is not really surprising because in general, in startups, people are, the turnover is generally high because startups keep on failing, and probably you will need to look for another job with the startup phase. That's fine. 1.2 years, actually that's not like super short, especially in the startup ecosystem. I would say this is pretty standard. Another statistics, 8 to 2 ratio when it comes to men to women ratio in the global blockchain field. That is probably understandable, especially that yeah, you know, the crypto culture, it's nothing else to say here. The acceleration in the age of digital economy. So they talk about the research methodology. They talk about what kind of jobs are there and how they divide the whole thing. So as you can see, there's a pretty interesting part because you have the infrastructure layer, everything about blockchains themselves, cryptography layers to Byzantine fault. I've been talking about when it comes to different blockchains in the Move ecosystem. So also EVM, Ethereum virtual machine. Then there's a protocol and application layer. So that can be anything from building smart contracts to building NFT collections. So even within the NFT collections, the bigger NFT collections, like for example, Azuki or Bored Ape Yacht Club, all of them are looking for people to hire because they raised money. They have hundreds of millions of dollars to spend. They want to really do something that will be memorable in the long term, and they're looking for creative people. So even if you don't have technical talent, you might be, for example, like a designer, or you've been working with fashion your whole life, there's a place for you in the Web3 for sure. Then there are different things like automated market makers, that's more on the exchange sides, on the trading side. Things like there's some jobs for analysts with building economic models. Like for example, tokenomics is one of the most important things when it comes to building your own token. And finally, there's an input layer. So everything around how you go with interaction between the blockchain and the ordinary user. So things like wallets, mnemonic phrase, the whole thing between the two, between the blockchain and the internet. So the metaverse in general speaking. The general overview is that the blockchain emerged with the birth of Bitcoin. That's understandable. So that was 2008. So basically the whole industry is basically 14 years. That's super young industry. That's why it's also developing so quickly. The nice thing, I think I've seen the statistics before, most of the larger companies within like S&P 500, like 90% of them are looking to go into Web3 in one way or another. So they want to implement some kind of blockchain components to what they're doing. So it's worth looking at that for sure. You can see how they're like different development drivers. So as far as I understand, this is the events that make it possible for more job creations in general. And it's funny that most of that is in 2018, so just after the crash. And the reason for that might be that there was like a lot of funding coming from ICOs, and probably there were many jobs created at that time. So another thing that I wanted to show you, there's like a bunch of cool stuff, but I will omit that for now, give the link down below. I wanted to talk about first of all, like what are the main concepts and sectors, and basically NFTs and blockchain gaming. Those are the things that they mentioned. As I said, like there were many collections, especially in the last year 2021, of collections that just exploded. Blockchain gaming is still in the making mostly. There are some games that are not super popular yet, but they're going there. Animoca Brands is one of the most known brands here, but there are more and more coming to the field as well. Let me go down to the section of different talents, and I wanted to have these tables here. So as you can see, the top 10 countries for global blockchain talent, number 1 is the US, second is India, then China, then number 4 UK, you have then Singapore, Nigeria, Bulgaria, Indonesia, Poland, Canada. So this is also understandable because a lot of software engineers are coming from those countries, and those countries are good when it comes to generally teaching how to be a software engineer. So it's understandable that those countries also lead when it comes to the blockchain talent. You can see the growth in those countries. The fastest growth is in India right now, 122% when it comes to the people within the blockchain industry. The second one being Canada. The slowest growth is China, then Poland. This is interesting. Then another thing is the demand. And this might be interesting because the demand actually that not correlates to the talent, and the demand is where actually the startups are, where blockchain job is to be found. So again, US is leading the way, but there are also a lot of job available in France, for example, which is not at all on the blockchain talent list. So that means basically that there's a funding for Web3 startups in France, but not enough talent. So if you're working abroad and you're thinking about working in Europe, then France might be a good place to look for a job, or Germany or the UK for that matter. Also, you have China, India, Brazil, which was also not on the blockchain talent list, Mexico, Spain, Canada. So again, this is the growth of how many job postings are for different countries. As you can see, the fastest growing are Brazil, Spain, and Canada when it comes to the amount of job available on the market. So again, this is purely based on LinkedIn, and there's different tools on LinkedIn that you can use to look for a job. LinkedIn is really good at having that. Probably that's not accurate statistics, in the sense that there are many jobs that you can get through Twitter or through different places, like for example Boundless Podcast. I think they're managing different websites where you can find a job. Also, many of the jobs that are available are not available through any of these sources, because, for example, I think Azuki is not on LinkedIn, but then you can find Azuki job openings through their website. So if you were to look, for example, for a job in an NFT startup, then basically you would have to go through the top 100 on OpenSea, see what are the top collections by volume, then go one by one and see through their websites and see what are the job openings, because there might be some. So there are plenty of jobs also on Twitter that are available to non-doxed members, because if a job is on LinkedIn, then basically everyone is doxed, and it's more on the probably infrastructure layer than the NFT space or a trading space. But still, it's very interesting to see that. So LinkedIn is really a good source for those kind of jobs when it comes to more serious jobs in the blockchain space. But if you're looking for being in this remote environment, you value your anonymity, then probably looking on Twitter and looking through different project pages is the better idea, because there's plenty of people that are looking for talent, and even writing to the companies that you're interested in, or writing to the projects you're interested in, like there's a small DEX that you want to collaborate with, or there's a particular blockchain that you really like and you want to do something more than just buying their token, then probably writing to them, writing to the funders is the best thing you can do by sending the CV, or maybe talking what you did in the past. That's the best way to get into. Also, if you're just fresh out of school or starting, or even in school, then offering your work for free is the best kind of way to gain experience and exposure for free, because you shouldn't expect to get paid a lot, especially in the beginning, if you don't really have an experience. But getting there with one leg, trying different things, experimenting, working for free is probably the best way to start. I would definitely do that if I were early on in my career. So again, let's go into the composition of the top 5 global blockchain talent types. It's basically finance, engineering, business development, information technology, and sales. So they have this nice graph here that you can see on the screen right now. Finance is mostly about either being an analyst or a trader. Engineering is basically about being a blockchain developer, so you're working for smart contracts. Maybe you're working on different cryptography, algorithmic stuff, or you might be a miner, and this is like the top 3 of the probably what you can get when it comes to engineering. But also like front-end, full-stack developers, DevOps, that's all important when it comes to the blockchain as well, because you need that whole infrastructure layer as well. Another thing is business development. So there's a lot of owners, CEOs, of course, but basically people who care about the relations with other startups. So for example, Polygon is a great source for that. They have many great deals with big companies, and that takes a lot of pure business development to do that, because you have to nurture those relationships, have really well-organized processes for the business development and so on. So if you're more on the business development side, then looking at the larger startups or larger blockchains like Polygon might be a good idea. Another thing is information technology, so that's everything related to tech support, but also getting the data about the different things. Most of those jobs, I guess, are either from companies that are market makers, doing maybe exchanges as well, but generally larger companies. And then you have sales. So sales can be actually anything from being a salesperson for an NFT project, which might be just chilling, or building the community. It can be really anything. This is like really LinkedIn kind of approach to grouping all the jobs. There are probably different ways to group it, and as I said, like if you were to group different jobs available through Twitter or on Discord or on different kind of websites, then probably you would have totally different image. Remember that LinkedIn is really this kind of more boomer site, so that's why you have this kind of job descriptions, but it's still a good thing to have. So yeah, top 5 growing talent types. Artist is pretty high. That's also understandable with the rise of NFTs. And that's basically it. So top 5 talent demands. That's product management, engineering, information technology, marketing, and human resources. So engineering is understandable because that's from the very beginning. Bitcoin, blockchain, that was purely a technical fit from the very start, and you needed many software engineers to put it off the ground. But right now, having the basic layers of technology, what you need to have is a great UX, great user experience, and for that you need more people working on things like product management. So having a whole team of like front-end developers, full stacks, back-end developers, artists, designers, and so on. You also need everyone aligned on the vision, marketing team, human resources for dealing with the larger teams as well. And really everyone who's going into the Web3 with the experience of previous working at larger corporations, because what's really important is having the structure, the processes. This is what really is lacking in a Web3 space, and it's super cool seeing that there are more and more jobs available, because that will mean that more and more NFT projects, exchanges, different blockchains will be more professional in the end, and that will be the best for the security, for the user experience, and generally for the feel of the crypto space. And this way we will go to the mass adoption. So thank you for watching. Summing up, if you're looking for a job in a blockchain space, in a Web3 space, you need to look at LinkedIn, googling for the particular company or looking for the particular job title. And that's the best thing. Look at the Bankless podcast, they have a list for Web3 jobs, and then look for on Twitter also for particular NFT projects. Also you can go for OpenSea, see the top 100 and go through there. Hope that's helpful. Let me know what you think. Are you working in crypto right now full time? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and see you in the next episode.